Hey folks, what's going on? It's Monday night. We're going to do some game design. We're working on Bards for 2024 using the color mana system that we've developed that's already published on the DMsGuild. Give me a few moments here. I need to see if we're up and running to do web maintenance and stuff to make sure that the channel is live, that our volume control is good. I need to do social media postings, and we're going to get to work here for a few hours. So first off, let's just check our post here to see if I'm up and running. So first off, let's just check. Yeah, sounds like I'm audible well enough. So I'm going to go ahead and grab that. Let's grab this link here real quick. We're going to dive. Normally, folks do all this stuff like when the countdown is going. Like live stream starts in 3 minutes. It's because all the social media buttons and stuff are being thrown on because we don't get the link to the live stream until it actually goes live, and YouTube can then assign a random key code to it for us to post with. So I can't really do this in advance, but I'm not technologically advanced enough to have a countdown screen yet. So I just kind of muck about and talk about shit like this while I'm pressing buttons, and I think I've done a decent job distracting you because we're done. So let me just say, hey, my name is Phil Kearney. I create role-playing games, I illustrate them, I publish them online, and we're creating content for Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition. Let me fix my screens here real quick. I stream 9 times per week, Monday through Friday in the morning. I do artwork for the books that I create. And then Mondays and Thursday nights like this, Tuesday and Fridays at lunch as well, we do game design. Right now, I'm going through the process. We first published the color mana system, taking the Magic the Gathering, 5 colors, and mana, converting it and replacing the 8 schools of magic advancing spell slot system that's traditional for D&D, 1st, 2nd, 3rd, and 5th edition. Color mana is fantastic. I'll probably end up talking about it. We've gone over it on multiple occasions. But since 5e24 has come out and the color mana books came out in 2018, it's been 7 years. It's time to update the whole system with the new mechanics. I like 5e24 a lot more than 5e14. And we've used the color mana campaign long enough now that we've found a number of changes and improvements to utilize the system. I typically run a campaign from level 1 to 20 in about 270-ish hours. And so I've had a couple full campaigns that have ran through. The books I build, I used in my campaign. So I have had a deep dive and run through multiple campaigns now using the color mana system that I have. And there's improvements. So this is a great opportunity for me to do that. And I'm basically retooling all of the character classes. Hey, Steve. Just so to cap off the conversation about intro stuff, if you find this stuff is cool, like, subscribe, hit the bell icon. Holy shit, we picked up a bunch of new subscribers today. Thanks a lot, guys. I hope to earn your keep. So if you think this stuff is cool, like, subscribe, hit the bell icon for notifications of when we're live in the future. And again, we're here 9 times per week. Here's a stack of different books that I've already published that are on DMsGuild. They all have free previews. I didn't actually create the Subclasses Revivified, but I did create all the monk updates for 5e24 in this book. But I didn't publish it, so it doesn't have a 100% free preview. But all these books do, as well as all the books in the actual color mana system here. There's 7 books in the series. We're going to be probably retiring. Maybe we'll leave the revised color list out. But it's going to get folded into the core mechanics book. It's going to get folded into Point Warlocks. It's going to get folded into Knights and Tricksters. We might decide the Elemental Key book. The Way of the 4 Elements doesn't exist in 5e24, so I'm still trying to figure out what I want to do with this book. But instead of using 5 colors, it explores the idea of 4 elements of air, earth, fire, and water using the same mana mechanics, just a different paradigm. There's the 8 schools paradigm. There's the 5 color magic paradigm. There's the Force, the light and dark side. That is a magical paradigm. And the 4 elements is also a magic paradigm. Ways of expressing the narrative of magic in your game is a paradigm, and whether or not you and whatever mechanics that you use with it, that's just your game engine. But the paradigms exist, like hammer, rock, scissors, or mind, body, and soul. Those could be magic paradigms as well. There's a lot of different ways you can express magic through your game. It's just the way that spell points work, or can work, in conjunction with spell slots in D&D. The color mana system that we're using, the mana points that are each point of mana, each spell point is assigned a color or devoted to a specific color, just like it is in Magic the Gathering. There's dual lands and stuff like that that allow you to tap the land and choose a number of colors. Well, similar but backwards to that is you assign a point of mana a specific color. You, like, say, devote your mana to, like, a point of mana to red, and instead of having like one source of mana provide multiple colors, we have spells could be cast in multiple colors. Like Sacred Flame is Divine Fire. Like I think it's Radiant. No, this is a cantrip. So like Sacred Flame, I think it's like Radiant Magic, Radiant Fire. I'm not sure exactly. I don't recall. But fire is red, and divinity or divine action or the like way of the gods, that's generally white magic. So it could be either a white or a red spell. Shillelagh is your empowering a stick to deal extra damage. The stick, that's red. Shocking Grass, lightning damage, that's very red. So here's the damage types for each color: white, blue, black, red, green. Here's the 10 types of exotic damage that you can deal in the game. BPS is just generic color mana. It doesn't have a color identity, but each of these damage types are devoted to different types of color. So each color has 4 types of damage that are basically native to that color. And here are the core tenets or ideas, mechanics, and themes that are associated with each color through the lens of Dungeons & Dragons 5e. So if you take the aspects and combine them with the damage type of a spell, and you're going to end up with this array of spells. So detect poison and disease. Disease and poison is generally black and green stuff. So detecting it is black and green energy. So if you spend 1 point of mana because it's a first level spell, and that 1 point can be either black or green, and then poof, the spell gets cast like you expected. Level up some. Let's look at Fireball, my favorite example. Fireball is a classic red spell both in D&D and MTG. It's a 3rd level spell, so it takes at least 3 mana. You could upcast it, of course, but it's a 3rd level spell, so you would cast it at base with 3 mana. 1 point can be red. The other 2 points can be any color that you want. Whenever you take a short or long rest in the D&D 5e game engine, whenever you take a rest, you can change the colors that your mana is devoted to. So if I currently have 7 points in white and 0 points in red, when I finish my short rest, I could put, like, say, 3 points into red, and the 4 points could stay in white, or I could switch them to black, whatever I want. When you're using a campaign setting that has high color identity tied to it, like Strixhaven, all of the students, all the characters in the Strixhaven game are filtered through the five colleges. Each college represents 2 colors, like Lorehold is white and red. So characters in Lorehold, if you stay on theme with them, they would only be using white and red magic. If you're using a liquid magic system where it's just a stack of mana and it doesn't matter what color they're devoted to, it's just narrative, but you're using a spell point system, this also works with spell slots. When you cast the spell, you just simply say, you describe it narratively as white or red or both. So that's the spell that I'm casting. It could be like Hunger of Hadar is a black spell with this system. But if you're using a very liquid system, you just have the 40 points of mana, and you cast Hunger of Hadar, and then you depict it as black. If your character learns it through research, you could change the color to whatever you want to be, say, white or red for Lorehold. And so your character would only be using magic in white and red. If the spell isn't naturally white or red, you would, if you're using a solid magic system, you can't cast those spells at all unless you have white, or unless they are capable of being cast in white and red. So for us to get Hunger of Hadar into the white or red category, we either have to spend time in college in the research library to convert the spell so that we can learn the spell as white or red, or when we're preparing our spells, you can swap the color. So I could learn Hunger of Hadar, but it's black. So if I was a Rakdos black-red character, I'm good to go. But since I'm playing, in this example, Lorehold, which is white and red, I could either spend time in the library and research it so that that black spell is now available to me in white or red, whichever one I want. Or on the fly, when I'm preparing my spells, I learn it once, so it's on my list, and then I learn it again, so it's the color that I want. And that's like a more of an emergency situation. If you're doing prep with your characters living in a world that has downtime activity, especially something like Strixhaven, which has a very telescopic time frame between events throughout the course of a semester of adventuring, there's tons of time for you to be able to allocate to downtime activity to research these things. In Theros, if you're when you're devoted to a god, your color just naturally slides to whoever that god is. And then you could pray to have those spells become the color that you need them to through your devotion and piety to your god. And then in the Ravnica campaign setting, all the guilds are also 2 colors, just like Strixhaven. So if I wanted to convert spells to red, I would then go to my guild headquarters, and depending on how much renown I have in that guild is going to determine the maximum level of spell that I'm able to research to convert over. But I don't have to spend any gold on it because I'm part of the guild. In Strixhaven, I'm a student, so I don't have to spend any gold to research the spell in the academy libraries. In Theros, I'm devoted, my heart is with that god. My soul is bound to the god of the color that I'm learning. So they're just piping the information through, just like they would send spells to a cleric. They can send the right color of that spell that you've learned to their devoted followers. So there's a lot of fun ways to be able to bend the system and use it so it leans into the narrative of the game that you're running, and helps build in the option of having downtime activities become an intrinsic part of you learning to control your mana. Like Strixhaven isn't a school about spellcasting, learn how to spellcast. Strixhaven becomes a school about how to control the mana. Because along with the martial power system, all 13 classes in the color mana system, all 13 classes have a mana pool. And if you're using a solid magic system like solid color, then each of those points is supposed to be devoted to a specific color of mana. So when you go to Strixhaven, whether you're a barbarian, a wizard, a sorcerer, a bard, it doesn't matter. Any class, all 13 of them are using mana. You go to Strixhaven so that you can learn how to harness and gain levels with that magic, expand your mana pool, and have the resources available to you so that you can do what you want in the colors that you want by going to the different libraries and the colleges to learn those colors like we were talking about. So it's a really fun way to be able to approach your campaign. Again, especially because like Strixhaven has such an expandable timeline because there's so much time with the events that take place during the course of a semester. It's easy for you to thread in this research time spent so that your color pool can become more consolidated into the colors that you want to use. It expands the number of spells that you have available to you, and it reduces the complexity of your mana pool. You could run Dominaria campaign, where characters have access to all 5 colors, and then it just becomes a choice. Am I tying the colors that I use to my character's identity, or is the colors of magic simply utilitarian for me? And I'm going to have like maybe 3 points in white, 6 points in blue, 3 points in red, and that's all I need because I'm a WUR. What is that? White, blue, red. That's not Naya. Someone remind me what white, blue, red is. It's slipping my tongue. I'm not awesome with Alara wedges and pies. I'm not as good with those as I am with dual colors, but the system remains. Like if you have a character that wants to operate that has no specific color identity, then you can just use all 5 colors, whatever's most useful to you. But then ultimately, super high level characters are going to want to get themselves so they're reducing their color pool down to just like 1 color. Like by the time you get to 20th level, your Jace, you embody blue. So all the spells on your list are just pure blue. So his mana pool is only 1 color. Cast any spell that he knows anytime with any amount of mana that he has because it's all blue mana. So there you go. Those are the ideas. So I guess with that's enough rambling, right? There's a playtest document that we're using Let's click here on the Martial Powers playtest document. This has all 13. We're still building inside of this, but this is the playtest document that we're using for the Martial Power system, which gives barbarians, fighters, monks, paladins, rangers, rogues mana to their mana, so that they operate off of mana as their primary resource. And it allows paladins and rangers, they get access to not only the spells that they normally have. There's like 50 some odd, maybe 70 spells that paladin and ranger have access to. And this allows you to pick between powers and spell casting. You can just like, I'll have 3 powers and 2 spells, and you just pick them and you prepare them like usual. So the paladin and the ranger as half casters have access to both mechanics, both powers and spells. Artificers have also have that same liquidity between the two of them, but they have like all the magic items that they can build, so you can stack on additional power effects into gear, so you can use both powers and spells to create magical items. And then warlocks, they can pick up powers as invocations instead of whatever their normal invocations were. So you have your spell list, and then on top of that, you have your invocations, which can be used to grab powers, so it expands the type of things you can do. Like a Hex Blade or other martial type character, like martial sort of warlock, might choose to take all invocations as like strike powers or reaction powers, or like exploits or sustained powers that they can buff. They can self-buff themselves without having to concentrate. A lot of really fun options that they can play with. So that's the first half of this book, is going through all the options with all the classes and subclasses for the martial characters and the half-casters up through Warlock. And then we have, after that, we have magic items and how the artificer interacts with those magic items. And hey, Francois. And then after the magic items, we open up into, if I scroll down here far enough, it's a big doc. Again, this is, you can read this. It's read only for you, but the whole thing's available for us. Arcane Trickster, like the Arcane Trickster has powers, but the Arcane Trickster, every time you gain your bonus levels, because you gain on half casting, right? 3, 5, 9, 13, 17, you pick up spells, 2 cantrips and 2 first level spells. Then at 5th, you get 2 second level spells, and then 2 third level spells, 2 fourth level spells, and 2 fifth level spells. So you end up with 10 spells and 2 cantrips as the Arcane Trickster, on top of all of the powers that you normally would learn. Other martial classes instead have specific powers that they learn, right? So these are the bonus powers that you get for being a martial assassin. But the Arcane Trickster, instead of gaining 10 extra powers on top of the powers they have, they can now use spells on top of that. So it gives you that mild taste of that half casting. So up to level 3 spells, yeah. And then as you gain 2 third level spells at 17th level, but then at 19th level, Arcane Tricksters and Eldritch Knights get access to 4th level spells. So once you get to 19th level, you've already got all of your bonus spells, but you can swap them every time you gain a level. So by the time you get to 19th level and access to 4th level spells, you can decide, I'm gonna stock up on all the 3rd and 4th level spells that I've been looking for. And then, your 19th level character is good to go. But then after we get through all this stuff and we keep kicking our way through the book, it's a 200-page document right now. And we're going to probably end up breaking this up across multiple books. But again, everything in all my books is 100% free preview. So, and when I bundle them together, I discount everything. So you end up paying not paying any at all if you don't think it's worth your time. But the way that it generally works is that if you like the books, you'll probably end up coming back and buying them. That's just like, it's not unusual for me to see someone like, say, grab Point Warlocks for free, and then like 2 days later, I'll get a sale for all the mana books except for Warlock, because somebody already has Warlock and now they're buying the rest of the bundle because they think it's good. And that feels like a really honest system of engagement to me. So I'm really happy to be able to provide these overall mechanics to you guys to play with, and then like I do in the morning with Eberron, once Eberron is done, we'll be taking these books and we'll be dropping them down and starting to do page layouts and artwork for them. So we're working on the bard right now. We finished the cleric, we finished the sorcerer, we finished the druid, we finished the wizard. The bard is the last of the full casters that we have to resolve. Let's see. That puts us here on page where 129 out of 200. So you can catch that here. It has the full class conversion. Some of the features are dropped because they don't work with how mana works. So we've included the full chassis of the bard progression, and then we swap out the components that are modified by these mana mechanics. So that's all these details here that you can read through. If you're interested or have questions about this stuff, my Discord channel is linked down below. It's free access. Jump on in, say hey, and then tool your way down to the color magic system and ask any questions that you have. We finished the College of Dance. We finished the College of Glamour. We're currently working on the College of Lore, and then we'll work on Valor. Those are the 4 subclasses that graduated in 2024, and then we did the Cleric. So there's a bunch of subclasses. There's like I think 3 more subclasses, different colleges that have not been upgraded. So we're gonna go through that process. We're gonna finish Lore and Valor, and then we'll go into the 2014 material and update the stuff in there that needs to be updated. So, and then once we go through all this process, we'll probably take a look at the horror UA to see how they've upgraded stuff, to see what kind of differences that they came across versus the solutions that we came up with, and we'll see how things stack up. So, but for now, let's go into D&D Beyond, and let's go to classes, and we'll go to the Bard because they're still working through the 2024 conversion of the color mana. 2024 doesn't need a lot of conversion work for the mana system. It's pretty easy to convert them. 2014 takes a little bit more work to convert to 2024 and then into the color system. So bear with me as we go through this process. Chaka. I'm gonna pop this out as a separate layer so I can flip between the channels easily. And I want to pop open a notepad so I can cut and paste. College of Lore makes sense that College of Lore would have profs. Second, let's do this. Features. We'll do like this. Features. College of Lore spells. Caps lock, Kearney. I see some text down there. Give me a hot second. I'll catch up with you in a second. Now we'll have to scrap all these out and replace them. Bards normally don't get bonus spells. We like giving bonus spells. Everyone deserves bonus spells, especially in the color mana system. The cool thing about bonus spells is that you can cast your bonus spells in any color that you want. They don't have any restrictions. So you don't have to research or learn them. If you're playing a, what would be a good one? Red and Dispel Good and Evil. Boy, it's a let's say you're playing Simic, blue and green. Dispel Good and Evil is typically a black and white mana spell, but if you're playing a Simic Bard of Lore, then you would be able to cast Dispel Good and Evil in either blue or green mana, because those are the colors that Simic operates inside of. So, cheers. Hey, what's up? No evil colleges like College of Law and Finance. MBAs. It's just Conspiracy 101. Political silence. No politics. College lore spells, those are good. And then let's go to proficiencies. Proficiencies 6 and 14, right? Let's grab this one. There's 4 features across 3 levels: 3, 3, 6, and 14. Apparently, sometimes if they think your 3rd level subclass feature is too large of an explanation, they'll punt the rest of it to 6th level. But there's no real rhyme or reason. It's just there are no rules that are printed as to how you structure a subclass. You just kind of have to reverse engineer it and kind of eyeball it with a little bit of an artistic flair. You gain proficiency with 3 skills of your choice. Yeah, that's pretty easy. I've been at this for 7 years, building subclasses and critiquing them and stuff like that. So I like to think I have a decent read on how to build power balance. And then even further still, there's how to balance them with the color mana system specifically, which is its own set of parameters. But 2024's mana makes a lot more sense in 2024 than it did in 2014, because generally characters are more powerful in 2024. Having them be able to flip between mana pools and use that mana as your primary resource instead of giving you a shitload of like free castings of stuff like that. We've really reduced the amount of like free spell castings that you get, and just reworded stuff so that you can still gain all the benefits but your mana pool is so robust, you have so much flexibility in spell casting that like you don't need free uses of Hunter's Mark, for example. Well, the solution that we came up with is just don't make it a spell, just make it a class feature that you don't have to worry about. But Cure Wounds only costs 1 mana to cast Cure Wounds, and a 20th level cleric has 80 mana, so you can cast a metric crap ton of cure spells. And casting that first level is actually the most efficient way to do it, because you get your 2d8 plus 5, and then it scales up from there, but that plus 5 bonus is static. So if you have time, just dropping a point at a time into Cure Wounds during a short rest, if you don't have any hit dice, like whenever, but multiple first level spells at 1 mana pop is more efficient for you than to throw down 7 mana. If you had a spell slot system, you would do that, but you only have 4 first level spell slots, and now you have to spend 2 mana minimum to heal, and then eventually 3 mana minimum to heal. It becomes less and less efficient to do lower and lower stuff. That really low level stuff is super utilitarian. So your ability to spam it out reduces the 15-minute adventuring day, because even after you pop your high level spells, you still have a bunch of mana, and most classes can get some back on a short rest. So you can always keep a little bit of juice in the tank to keep doing stuff. So there's no need for you to stop after your first encounter. You drop your best spells. Your best spells are just your most expensive spells in a mana system. Your best spell, like for a cleric, your best spell is probably Guiding Bolt and Cure Wounds. Like those are amazing spells. The amount of like we just said, Cure Wounds 2d8 plus 5 from your Wisdom bonus. That is crazy efficient mana usage, as opposed to a Mass Healing, which is 7 mana for 70 points. You're going to probably just, unless you have to throw it down because you're in the middle of a big fight that's chewing up your hit points. If you get out of the fight alive, you can just plink out 1 point at a time to heal people up, just like you'd spend 1 hit die at a time while you're resting to heal yourself up. That conserves your mana so that you can have more adventuring during the course of the day, so you don't have as much Nova. Guiding Bolt is a ridiculously powerful spell. For 1 mana, it's 4d6 radiant damage, and then you have advantage on the attack. It's not unusual to see Guiding Bolt floating around parties with divine action going on, but that's okay. That's basically going to be like the spell that the cleric is going to use forever, just to plink stuff, because it only costs 1 mana to pop it. Super useful. It's actually not a problem. It's just they'll do damage with it, so just get used to that. It allows them to survive, but by the time you get to 9th level, it doesn't really matter anymore. 46 radiant damage isn't that big of a deal at like 9th to 20th level. It curves out. It's good damage when you need good damage to stay alive long enough to be able to run a good campaign. Itchy face. Hey, what's up? Officer Candidacy School. Be cool for Bards. Like bonuses for leading troops. Yeah, I hear what you're saying. We have a mass combat system. It's not published yet, but we've been developing it for years. and it works pretty good. And having class features that manipulate the commands that you give to characters or to the squads of troops is it's something that's on our docket to do eventually. So keep an eye out for that. Stick around. We'll get to it in 2 years. Variant proficiencies, cutting words. You learn to use your wit to supernaturally distract, confuse, and otherwise sap the confidence and competence of others. When a creature that you can see within 60 feet of yourself makes a damage roll or succeeds on an ability check or attack roll, you can take a reaction to expend 1 use of your Bardic Inspiration, roll your Bardic Inspiration die, and subtract the number rolled from the creature's roll, reducing the damage or potentially turning the success into a failure. Damage rolls, ability checks, or attack rolls. Use your reaction to expend Bardic Inspiration, and you can regain Bardic Inspiration by expending 2 mana at 5th level. Starting at 5th level, Font of Inspiration, you get things back on short rests, and you can spend 2 mana to regain 1 point of Bardic Inspiration, or you can convert 1 point of Bardic Inspiration into 2 mana. So whenever you finish a short rest, assuming you have a 20 in your charisma by level 4, then you're going to be able to have basically 10 points of mana as a battery that you get back every time you take a short rest, which you could immediately they come back as Bardic Inspiration points, but you can immediately convert them into mana, or you can convert them back. It doesn't take any action either way. Here, no action required. So it's just, if I need to use a Bardic Inspiration and I don't have any points left, and I have at least 2 points of mana in my mana pool, I just spend the 2 points of mana as part of the reaction, and it automatically triggers. I'm pretty convinced that as a result of this, Silvery Barbs was supposed to be a 2nd level spell, and that they just typoed it and made a mistake, and just didn't own that they fucked up, and that Silvery Barbs should have been 2nd level. You know, whatever. It's a theory. A film theory. No, not really. God, I haven't watched film theory in a while. I don't even know if that dude's doing that stuff anymore. Let's get back into it. College of Lore. So far, so good. This has been an easy conversion so far. Magical discoveries. I bet this will also be easy. I'm just going to grab, copy, paste, cut, paste. Oh, it looks like we already listed here. Choose 2 spells you have prepared. For these spells can be devoted to any color you choose when you cast them. Nah, let's not. If you replace a prepared spell that benefits from this feature, that spell can benefit from this feature instead. Okay. Let's look at it again. You learn 2 spells of your choice. These spells can come from the Druid, Cleric, Druid, or Wizard spell list, or any combination thereof. A spell you choose must be a cantrip or a spell. Or a spell that you can cast as shown in the bard, or a spell you choose must be a cantrip or a spell for which, or a spell equal, or a spell of, how do I word it up? I have it up here already, because this is just gaining that feature early. So the diversity feature, which comes in at level 10, Magical Secrets. There. Let's grab that. Jump back down into here. You can. No. You choose 2 spells of your choice equal to the max rank, max spell level gained as a bard. You learn 2 spells of your choice up to... That's the proper language. Not of the level, but up to the level. Let's go fix that. Whenever you gain a bard level, you can choose to prepare a number of... You can choose to prepare a number of spells equal to the max spell level gained as a bard from the cleric, druid, and wizard spell lists instead of the bard list. These count as bard spells for you. Okay, this is just if you have 10 spells that you can prepare them from these lists. It's not a problem. That's how that's worded. So I actually don't need to change that. That language is accurate. So looking then at the difference with the College of Bard or the Bard Lore, College of Lore Bard, you learn two additional spells of your choice up to the max spell level gained as a bard. That language works. You learn 2 additional spells of your choice up to the max spell level gained as a bard from the cleric, druid, or wizard lists instead of the bard list. From the bard, cleric, druid, and wizard spell list, period. These count as bard spells for you. Magical discoveries and magical secrets. So let's add in just a little extra bit of pepper. You always have the chosen spells prepared, and whenever you gain a bard level, you can replace one of the spells with another that meets these requirements. Level gained as a bard. Period. And then one last kicker. Thinking. Hold on. Contemplating my next move. In addition, spells you choose with this feature or the magical secrets and the magical secrets feature at level 10 can be cast with any color magic you choose. So they become as though these bonus spells that you get. Actually, let me nix that. Moreover, there we go. Yeah. Moreover, these spells are. Moreover, when you cast. Thank you, Timely Timer. Moreover, when you cast these spells, you can use any color mana you choose. Moreover, when you choose these spells, you can decide when you finish a short or long rest, you can choose what color these spells are devoted to. That's the right answer. I think that's the book as it's already printed in 2014 basically says bonus spells are whatever color you want when you cast them. But I think what we'll do, I think I like this language better. When you finish a rest, your bonus spells, you can devote those spells to any color you want. I like that. I think I like that as a little bit more of a little bit more structure than to just simply be, whatever color you want, whatever color you can cast it. I think allowing you to freely change the color of that mana without having to spend research time or additional preparation, I like that as a kicker bonus. But it still gives you it gives you rules to hinge off of. So I think I'm good with that. And is 14 also? No, it's Peerless Skill. Thank you. I was gonna say. What's this called again? Peerless Skill. When you make an ability check or attack roll and fail, you can expend one use of your Bardic Inspiration, roll the Bardic Inspiration die, and add the number rolled to the d20, potentially turning a failure into a success. On a failure, the Bardic Inspiration isn't expended. That's pretty good. Oh, it doesn't take a bonus action or reaction. It just happens. That's actually really good. Is action economy and you don't lose it. That's a lot of mods, man. That's worth. Okay, cool. That finished. Oh, wait. We need to pick spells. Let's pick spells for you. So let's go find our revised color spell list, 2024 color magic spell list, and we'll hopefully have that pop open here. Get that out of the way. And there we go. Got it. Okay, cool. So let's go fishing for spells. I like to start at level 5 and work my way down just because I think that's fun. Like all the cool high-end shit up front. This is lore college, right? Learning stuff, knowing things. Let's see what kind of cool stuff is out here for us to learn and know things through. Right off the top, Scrying looks like a strong contender. Legend Lore, strong contender. Commune, very strong contender. Let's go with, let's definitely Legend Lore. What do we want to say? Commune? Let's go with Commune. You only get 2. What else? Where are we sitting at down here in 4? Looking for knowledge or information. I mean, locate creature is a pretty good one. Right off the top, that's smart. Divination, we'll have to look at that to see. If we're struggling, we'll look at divination and see what's there. All right, we're struggling. There is Arcane Eye, which is a type of scrying of sorts, but locate creature, I don't know, man. Is Arcane Eye better than locate creature? Yes, I'd say locate creature is a little bit more on task with a bard of lore than Arcane Eye. Let's look at divination real quick while we mull that over. Hopefully, my chair's a little squeaky right now. I need to. I can't find the Allen. It's a weird sized Allen wrench that I need. I can't find the fucking assembly package that has all of the Allen wrenches in it. I think I'm going to need to go order some, but I'm hoping to have that resolved this next week. Divination as a spell. Hopefully, D&D Beyond's up to the task of answering the question. Divination spell. Hey, great. Or are you talking about like the school? Nope, there it is. The spell puts you in contact with a god or god's servants. You ask one question about a specific goal, event, or activity that occur within 7 days. Truthful reply. Short phrase. Cryptic rhyme. Yeah, come up with a puzzle, like come up with a poem on the spot. If you cast a spell more than once before finishing a long rest, there's a cumulative 25% chance for each casting after the first that you get no answer. Okay. Yeah, divination is good. Locate creature, I think that jives. Double checking real quick just to make sure we didn't leave anything behind that was obvious and I just missed it. Yep, divination, locate creature. No. I like Arcane Eye better. We're going with that one. So I just like it better. For whatever reason, I like it better. You guys are welcome to fight me over it. Join my Discord and fire up a conversation with me about it if you'd like. Link is down below. Free access. Tongues isn't a bad option, especially if we're going to be shortchanged on good options. Show me something. Give me something I can use. Give me something I can use. Damn you. Not obvious. Clairvoyance. There it is. Clairvoyance. Let's make sure I didn't miss anything. Good. And now we get 2 first and 2 second. Zone of Truth doesn't not make sense. We'll keep that one in the wing. Let's see what else we got. See invisibility, maybe. I'm gonna skip locate animal and plant because I skipped locate person. I'm gonna say no to augury. So see invisibility and zone of truth. And then our first level spells. Here's hoping. Identify, that's good. Detect magic. That's a pretty, I mean, it's a shitty free spell, but it is a free spell. Well, hey, what's up, Sebastian? What is going on exactly? Well, welcome to the channel. I make D&D 5e books. My biggest accomplishment for 2014 was to create the color mana spell point variant rule system. It replaces Vancian spell magic, the 8 schools of magic, and spell slots of D&D, and instead gives you a color mana system where you have spell points that you devote to the 5 colors: white, blue, black, red, green, And like say a fireball is a 3rd level spell. So if you want to throw a fireball in D&D, you spend 3 points of mana, 1 point has to be red. If you're using a strict magic system that requires you to tally the amount of mana that you use, when you run out of red mana, you can't cast any more red spells until you take a rest and convert some of or devote some of the mana that's still in your mana pool to the color that you need. If you're using a softer liquid system, then as long as you have mana, you can just narrate what color it is. But by replacing the 8 schools of magic with the color magic system from MTG, you create a much more expressive narrative system because it's literally colors that you're looking at. And one of the best things that a DM can do when you're running a game is provide descriptions of stuff. So magical effects, magic armor, god abilities, spells being cast, abilities of creatures, these areas, these can all have auras or like just like dripping literal different colors of stuff. Like a demon's eyes could flare red, and you could potentially anticipate like some sort of fire effect to come into being. But it might be like dripping black ichor off of its body because like it has armor of Agathis active on it, for instance. So you can use color identity to deepen the narrative of your game, even if you're still using spell slots. But the 5 color system is very simple and adds a lot more depth. And if you're an MTG enthusiast already, which I certainly am, and these books are built to appeal to those type of people, they all have free previews. They're the link to the full set of books that you can read. If you're a D&D guy, you can read all the books here. It takes you to the same link we were just looking at. And the document that I'm working in right now to rebuild all of the classes. I made this in 2016, and 2018 is when they started publishing. And I've been running them in my own campaigns for the past 7 years, so I need to update the books because we've learned a lot in that time. And with the new 5e24 rules that have come out, it's a great opportunity and excuse for me to update everything. So if you click here into the Martial Powers playtest document, it'll take you to this currently 200-page work in progress, which also converts all of the martial classes into a color mana paradigm. So your Rakdos or Gruul Barbarian can actually throw black and red or red and green armor around, while you're using powers, which are similar to, like, in 3rd edition, there was the Book of 9 Swords. In 4th edition, they were literally called, like, fighters, and warlords and paladins had powers instead of spells. This creates a 5e half-casting power system for martial characters to use mana with. And we're working on the Bard right now. We're updating Bard and all the 2014 stuff about Bards to the 2024 game system, as well as adapting the color mana paradigm along with it that we'll be rebuilding and then publishing. You know, we're basically going to replace all these books that we already have on the DMsGuild. We're basically just going to rebuild all of these for 2024. We'll leave the original documents in a zip file that you get when you download the book if you purchase it, but it'll be the forward-facing document from now on. The preview from now on will be in a better format, and the 2024 rules. So like if you click here, gold medal status, baby. There's some of us out there. I'm proud of that. 5 rating at 5-star. Very proud of that. Thank you folks for thinking this stuff is cool. But a 75-page book, the entire thing is available for you. I do all the artwork on my books, as well as all the page layouts and writing. I hire an editor so that I can make sure it sounds good. I have a second opinion. But the full book is here. Here's all the basic mechanics that we had built in 2018 using 2014 rules. But I've ran multiple campaigns from level 1 to 20 at this point. And there's a lot of changes that we can make to make the system just better in general. Like in this book, all the spells are devoted to only one color each, and then you can relearn them to be a different color if you want to. But with the expanded, the revised 5-color mana spell list here that we were looking at when you came in, this is the spreadsheet that I'm currently using for the 2024 rules. This is still all the 2014 rules, but you can see here that we've adapted it so like every color that you can reasonably say this spell could be cast as, we now make available so that you have more flexibility in your mana pool, so you get access to more spells more easily. So it's adapting over time, and it's just time for me to update all the books. And since I build and illustrate books online, that's what this channel is for. Here we are. So that's what I'm up to. That's a real quick crash course. It's a read-only document if you want to check it out. But again, once the book publishes, it'll also be a 100% free preview on DMsGuild. So that is all. Hey, thanks. I ever get a chance to bring it up to friends, I definitely will. Right on, man. If you're the kind of guy that just likes to theory craft and build characters, like maybe someday I'll be able to play this 15th level Hexblade. Pardon the squeaky chair. It's I as a 3rd edition enthusiast myself, I love theory crafting builds, and so we build these super cool characters. And with the color mana language, you could decide that your Gruul character that lives on instinct and aggression of red and green mana, you can now build your character out to represent red and green energy through the type of spells or powers that you prepare or select for your character, along with the classes and the feats and stuff that you use. And you can multi-class between the power system and spell casting. So like a barbarian sorcerer could be incredibly cool. Like if you can't maintain concentration while you're raging, then instead of casting concentration spells, instead pick up personal aura powers, so that all your concentration slots are filled with martial powers that don't require concentration. So even though you can't cast any concentration spells, your character has self buffs to the martial power system. You don't need to concentrate on spells. You're just going to do any spells that you have through your sorcerers. Just going to be flash bang stuff. But you could build like a barbarian sorcerer, like a sorcerer, like a tempest sorcerer, and say an ancestral guardian barbarian, and you can blend those two things together so that when you're summoning your ancestral allies to fight alongside you with power, you could be slinging spells through them, and you could be showing those as like ancestors rising and casting the spell for you, and then dissipating after the spell has been cast. It's your spell casting action, but you're summoning an ancestor that was a great shaman that casts the spell through you and then disappears again while your horde of ancestral guardians are fighting alongside you, barbarian. So like you can make really cool builds that way, and you can add you can steep them in all the narrative flavor of MTG, and now have a mechanic that reinforces that Magic the Gathering color flavor into how you operate your character's mechanics. So that's the idea. So back on task, we're selecting. We give every class either 10 bonus spells or bonus powers that they gain when at 3, 5, 7, 3, 5, 9, 11, 13. Is that right? It's 3, 5, 9, 11 for the full casters, and 3, 5, 9, 13, 15, 17 for the half casters. So yeah, that works. Anyway, Mud Pie. There we go. So we've just finished Magical Discoveries. Oh, we're looking at first level spells. That's right. We're trying to pick our spells for the College of Lore. Detect Magic makes a ton of sense. It's a nothing spell, but it's still on theme with what we're doing. And then I lost it. What was the other one that we were looking at? Let's grab this now while we're thinking about it. Detect Magic. And what was the other one? Oh, Identify. That was it. There we go. And now the College of Lore is done. Bing! Exclamation point means done. And now we'll go down to the College of Valor. That will the College of Valor is the last 2024 class that needs to be converted to the spell point system, and then we'll go back into 2014 and grab all the subclasses that did not graduate to 2024 and elevate them to 2024, and also make sure that they're compliant with the mana system. So I'm here 9 times per week, Monday through Friday in the morning. We're illustrating our books, either doing cartography for adventures, or token art, or character sheets, or just page art. I work in Photoshop with a tablet, and I just paint on the pages. And then Mondays and Thursday nights, plus Tuesday and Friday nights, Tuesday and Friday at lunchtime, Monday and Thursday night, I do game design work like this. So we rebuilt the Bastion system. We rebuilt Spelljammer. We're rebuilding the color mana system here. Those are our big projects. Yeah, those are our big projects. And most of that stuff you can see linked down below already. So let's get back into the Valor. Thanks everyone for allowing me to take that tangent there. Always gotta let the new folks know what the fuck is going on, because what the fuck is going on, y'all? Combat inspiration. That's where we're at. I'm just gonna grab this whole block here. Just gonna grab all of it, cutty pasty. Paste. Pasty. All right, now let's grab the features, combat inspiration and martial training. Cool. Inspiration. Combat training. No, martial training. Hergadert. Extra attack. What a great feature. I mean, it's not nothing. And then battle magic. I suspect this one's going to kick by pretty quickly. Let's find out. Let's do this. This is how we do. I don't care about wit. A creature that has a bardic inspiration die from you can use it for one of the following effects. Defense. When a creature is hit by an attack roll, that creature can use its reaction to roll the Bardic Inspiration die and add the number rolled to its armor class against that attack, potentially causing the attack to miss. And again, we can convert Bardic Inspiration into mana and mana into Bardic Inspiration. It's 2 mana. So if you run out of Bardic Inspiration, you can just spend 2 mana and gain an extra inspiration that you can hand off to somebody or burn yourself. Immediately after the creature hits a target with an attack roll, the creature can roll the Bardic Inspiration die and add the number rolled to the attack's damage against the target. Okay, that's okay. Nothing groundbreaking about that. The shield spell is a +5 bonus and uses reaction, so you can't use shield and defense inspiration on in the same turn. I am happy about that. Let's go look at martial training. You gain proficiency with martial weapons and training in medium armor and shield. In addition, you can use a simple or martial weapon as a spellcasting focus to cast spells from your bard spell list. Cool. Extra attack. I'm sure this is going to go by. I suspect this is all going to go by very, very quickly. Which is great. I don't want to spend unnecessary amount of time on this because there's so much to do. Always more to do. You can attack twice instead of once whenever you take the attack action on your turn. In addition, you can cast one of your cantrips that has a casting time of an action in place of one of those attacks. I'm actually really great with that. After you cast a spell that has a casting time of an action, you can make one attack with a weapon as a bonus action. I like that language. After you cast a spell that has a casting time of an action. As a bonus. Yeah, I don't need to change the wording right now, so I'm not gonna. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. Okay, cool. That tracks. So let's get rid of our spell selection here. I don't believe they gave us any free spells. For some reason, they don't want to give Bard free spells. I think all classes should have 10 bonus something. That way they all have 10 bonus something that helps create more identity for their character. And again, you can cast these bonus spells with any color that you want. So it allows you to have easier use of your mana pool automatically just by using your bonus spells. If you lean into your bonus spells, you never have to worry about whether or not you have the mana for it. There you go. So yeah, let's start building a list. I think we're going to probably find some low-hanging fruit like Steel, Wind, Strike. Am I right? That's a pretty obvious one, but let's see what other cool stuff is out there for us that's not necessarily as low-hanging. So back to our list. Let's kick back up to 5. Again, this isn't published yet, but this is the revised 2024 spell list. I want to go back through and review the simplified durations, because with the color mana system, and this is described in the core mechanics book that we have. If we go back to here and we look at the core mechanics book here, and then we go down to simplified durations. There's only 3 durations in the game. It's instantaneous, persistent, and concentration. Instantaneous spells, it pops and it's done. Persistent spells last until you finish a long rest. When you finish that long rest, instead of gaining mana back, you can choose to leave the mana cast that spell. You can choose to leave it spent so that the spell doesn't stop. Like, this is really useful for necromancers that use Animate Dead. Instead of having to spend mana to regain control of the undead that we created, you could just leave your mana pool burned so that you just retain control of them. You don't have to worry about casting it again. They'll just stay under your control. If you need to take a long rest at the bottom of the ocean, you have water breathing cast on you. You can just, when you wake up, just choose to have water breathing left cast upon you, so you don't have to worry about being at the bottom of the ocean and unable to breathe until you resolve the casting of the spell. So that's super useful. It's a fun little thing. And then concentration, you can tap mana. We have the modified concentration mechanics that go along with maintaining concentration, so it's a lot more flexible. You tap mana to sustain to maintain concentration on it. You can maintain concentration on multiple spells, but every additional point of mana that you spend, whether it's one or multiple spells, increases the DC of your concentration check. And whenever you make a saving throw, whether it's because you took damage or you get toppled because somebody trips you with weapon mastery, it doesn't matter. Every time you make a saving throw, you compare the result of your saving throw to your concentration DC. Whether you succeed the save or not, if I'm maintaining a 5th level spell, my DC to maintain that spell is 15, 10 plus mana. So it doesn't matter what the saving throw is. If I can't hit a 15, I just lost that spell. Or if I was maintaining concentration on 5 spells, they're all lost. That's a really fun way to give you high risk and reward systems, to be able to lean into, the word I'm looking for, is risk reward. It's high risk and high reward. So you can plan and stack up a bunch of mana on yourself, and because there is no, the spell remains active until you dismiss it or lose concentration. So you could put a bunch of combat buff spells on yourself before you roll into a battle that you know about and be ready to go. But as soon as you get dinged, like someone launches a javelin at you and hits you and uses the topple mastery, you now have to make a strength saving throw. And although the DC to stay on your feet might only be a 13, if you've packed up 6 points of mana on yourself, like to haste multiple targets, for instance, and you lose that, if your strength saving throw isn't at least a 16, you just dumped all that spells, and now your team's paralyzed because you lost your spell. They're all stunned until the end of the next turn. The enemies get a free turn on you. It's like you can stack like Conjure Animals and Guardian Spirits onto your character if you're like, I think Conjure Animals is a 4th level spell now, so that's 7. You'd have to be 15th level to do that. But again, the saving throw DC for that is 17 for all 6 stats. And once a DM gets used to doing this, you just automatically start threading in stuff that forces you to make saving throws to shit test your concentration. And we have mechanics for shit testing your concentration outside of combat by enduring conditions. Concentration checks, attrition checks, they're called attrition checks. Depending on the severity of the test, of the condition that's causing you to make your saving throw, the severity determines how frequently you have to make your saving throw. And there's just common conditions, there are environmental conditions, and you can combine them together. So like, for example, loud or repetitive noise will wear on your wisdom after a while. A blinding light or being in darkness, that can mess around with your concentration while you're trying to figure out your intelligence while you're trying to figure stuff out. Maintaining scrying, another divination spell, it's whatever your casting ability score is. What is it? Standing very still, like if you're on guard duty, right? And you're just standing there, that's eventually going to be a constitution saving throw just to see if you lose, see if you get bored and then your concentration drops. So just real casual shit testing. If you're like airborne during high winds, that's going to be a strength saving throw. So like if you're trying to do overland movement using a fly spell and you get caught in an updraft, you give yourself a saving throw, a strength saving throw. If you fail, you're gonna free fall, or you're just gonna have to spend the mana again while you're falling to get the fly spell up and back and running, and then you can continue on your way. But I just charge you 3 points of mana to continue your conversation, stuff like that. So that's, again, you can read all that stuff for free. So check it out. It's a really fun system that rewards smart tactics and positioning and covering your ass, as opposed to just diving in headlong and expecting your magic to get through it. Because if you're getting lined up against saving throws you're not good at, your casters might have to rely on instant or persistent spells and not utilize concentration at all, because it's just going to get taken from them and eat their resources. That's something that you find and balance over time. So let's see. Steel Wind Strike was kind of obvious for Valor. That was a give me. So we took it. Regal Presence, it's not the right vibe. Swift Quiver. Maybe we should give that, because, a ranged Valor Bard is just as viable as a melee Valor Bard. That would actually kind of be fun. Let's check to see if there's something that's more awesome. Doubt it. Okay, great. I'm just gonna go ahead and lock that in now that we're talking about it. Fun. 8579, right. So let's drop down to 4th level. Let's see if we find some cool stuff. Stone Skin isn't horrible. For Valor, maybe not. Valor, huh? Maybe Staggering Smite. I don't mind leaving the Smite spells as they are for full casters. The Paladin in the martial power system has a lot better options available to them than the Smite spells are. But so Smite spells are like shitty versions of strikes. So letting full casters have access to Smite spells on their bonus list is actually It's actually pretty usable. It's a good solution to help knock them down a peg in combat from where the marshals are at. Marshals are just fucking monsters, man. Just monsters. They're far more instantaneous, reaction-based type characters, which you would expect. They don't have any concentration effects to worry about, so they're just get in there and do shit. I mean, so far, this is looking pretty damn good. No. Valor. Hold on. Bard of Valor. Let's look at Aura of Purity. Let's just look at that real quick. Just to make sure that we're not leaving any treasure on the floor, you know? This could be good. Aura radiates you 30 feet. While in the aura, you have resistance to poison, advantage on saving throws to avoid the effects, including blinding, charming, deafen, frighten, paralyzed, poison, stunned. Yeah, I'm good with that. I like that. Aura of Purity, seal of approval. Let's lock that one in. That's a good one. And alphabetically first. Regardless of what I'm going to pick from here. What else? What else we got? What else is good? Is there something better? There's something better than Staggering Strike. Definitely not Fabricate. Don't know why I clicked on that. No. Guardian of Faith? Nah. Valor. Bravery. Sticking your nose out. No. So far, Staggering Smite is really just standing out as like the one. Yeah, let's go with it. It certainly doesn't hurt. It's not a bad choice. It's a great spell. Let's go to third. I like working from the top down just to see where we're at. Valor. We're thinking Valor. Protection from energy isn't a bad idea. Let's look at Magic Circle. I recall Magic Circle being a real good one. Yeah, squeaky chair is really bothering me. I'm aware of it. Anyone that's annoyed by it, my apologies. I am attempting to fix it. I need new Allen wrenches. I'll be ordering those so that I can get them to me so I can try to... And if that doesn't work, I'll just have to get a different chair. This one worked really good for about a year, and now it's squeakering. You create a 10-foot radius, 20-foot cylinder of magical energy centered on a point on the ground that you can see within range. Glowing runes appear whenever the cylinder intersects the floor or other surfaces. Choose one or more of the following types of creatures. Creature can't willingly enter the cylinder by non-magical means. That's not radiating. Or it isn't resonating. Resonating is the word I meant. Yeah, resonating. What do we have already? Anything? No. Nothing for third yet, huh? I guess we were working top down? No. Let's say no. Ooh, what about just slow and haste? Valor. Slow doesn't really say Valor to me. Protection from evil kind of... protection from energy kind of says Valor because you're willing to dive into it, trusting that your magic is going to protect you. I kind of like that. Haste is also just such a great combat spell in general. But, ooh, Crusader's Mantle might be better thematically, though. Let's check that out. Because I don't have these things memorized. I just need to look at them occasionally. So let's see what we see. You radiate a magical aura within 30 feet around you. While the aura, you and your allies deal an extra d4 radiant damage when hitting with a weapon or unarmed strike. I don't hate it. It's a decent go-to. If we can find something better, I'll take it. Like those aren't bad. I mean, they're good spells, I guess. Crusader's Mantle's only so-so. It stacks up after a while. That's my 20-minute timer. Thank you, Timely Timer. Make sure I don't lose myself. I got another 40 minutes, and I'm gonna have to bail for the day. But we'll be back. We'll be back tomorrow at lunch. Ooh, Beacon of Hope. That might actually be a really good one. Let's check that out. Duration, advantage on wisdom saving throws and death saving throws again, and regain maximum amount of hit points from any heal. Yeah, let's do that. Beacon of Hope looks really good. Crusader's Mantle, Beacon of Hope. Sorry, Haste, you're getting bumped. I just think these are thematically better for Valor. They just feel more Valory than something else. Okay, cool. So diving back in, Warding Bond. That's a great. Warding Bond is a great one. I love that spell. I fell in love with Warding Bond due to Spelljammer. Spelljammer, if you have a Warding Bond co-pilot with you, your pilot can tank so much damage for the ships. Super cool. Shining Smite is not a bad idea. Just protection from error. Protection from poison. Any kind of protection, something just feels like a good one too. And not so much magic weapon. Valor. What in here is saying Valor to me? Valor. Not Aid. Let's look at Aid real quick. Aid. My gut's telling me this one might be good. Each target's hit point maximum and current hit points increases by 5 for the duration. Upcast for an extra 5. Yeah, I love that. Aid and Warding Bond. That Warding Bond is Warding Bond a second level spell? Is that true? Am I crazy? Wow. I thought it was a higher level spell than that. Let's double check my shit real quick. Make sure I have it properly allocated. That seems like a low level spell. I thought it was 3rd. Nope, sure as shit. 2nd level spell. I love it. Love it, love it, love it. I can see the logic of not wanting Warding Bond to be concentration because you're taking damage and it's going to force you to take concentration checks. I don't like that. We're going to be making some revisions to a lot of this stuff. Like, this isn't a concentration spell. It has a 1 hour duration. The original philosophy was if it has a 1 hour or shorter duration, make it concentration based because you can stack concentration effects. It's not like you have to choose one or the other. It just ramps up the DC of the concentration check that you're making. But with a lot of usage, a little bit wiser and more experienced with dinging people in combat using this stacking concentration system. It's like putting Warding Bond on somebody and making it persistent basically means that once you put this on somebody, you can just permanently keep it on somebody and just choose to take damage for them when they're within reach. And if you want to permanently burn hit points, burn mana to establish that, you are welcome to do. With the stacking mana system, like if I'm an 11th level caster, I could have Warding Bond on 3 characters. So I could, if I'm on a team of 4, I could just be taking damage for the entire team. It'll kill me quickly, but if I have a means of being able to heal myself through it, it's actually good action economy. So removing the concentration effect, I'm actually pretty happy about that. Actually really happy about that. We're going to go through all the spells in 2024 and really scrutinize what spells should be concentration and which ones should be persistent. I want to lock that stuff down. I'm already happy with it, and you get a free spreadsheet that you can edit yourself to change it if you choose. But I think we can make better decisions about how we built this out and have a more fun narrative, like the locate spells. I question whether or not those need to be concentration or not. They could be persistent. But you know, that's stuff to play with. So anyway, let's get back to work. Aid, warding, bond, love it. First level spells. Again, we're thinking heroism, valor, shield of faith. Faith and valor kind of are like cousins. Like one kind of bleeds into the other. A shimmering field surrounds a creature of your choice. It gains a +2 bonus to armor class for the duration. Yeah, shield of faith. That's not bad. Is there better? Hold on. Whose spell list is that on? And it's on Sorcerer, Bard, fucking Illrigger, whatever. Warlock, Hexblade. So Sorcerer and Wizard get it. Okay, I'm cool with that. And then subclasses. It's not bad. It's not a bad choice at all. Protection from evil and good. I feel like protection from evil and good is more thematically on point. Heroism. Oh my god. What does that do again? Just the name alone makes me want to give it to you. Oh my god. So flavor. Let's make sure it's not a shitty thing. I mean, not that it has to actually be good. I mean, detect magic on the lore bard. Get bent. Creature viewed bravery. Perfect. Immune to frightened condition. Gains temporary hit points equal to my modifier. No, that's actually perfect. Heroism is absolute gold. Let's see if there's something else that's super cool. Valor? Yeah, let's do Compelled Duel. I love that. And my foot's falling asleep again, so I have to adjust my chair. I don't like doing artwork or writing with both feet on the ground. I only want one foot on the ground and I tuck the other one underneath it, but I lose blood and my knee gets locked up after a while, so it causes me to flip-flop between my legs a lot, which causes me to shift my seat like every 15 minutes. Good. Those are good. And this class is built, man. 1, 2, 3, 4. Bop. Nice. So let's go down here. Forsaken subclasses. One, two, three, two. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, cool. Now I'm just gonna fetch. How many are there? Let's bounce back to the top here. Classes. And then we'll drop the new PH, drop the Tasha, grab the Bard from 2014 basic rules. And how many we got in here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We already have Glamour, Lord, Valor. Hold on. First off, we got to make sure that this is all content I have the rights to actually publish. I don't see any notation about it coming from a weird, like Alexandria or something, whatever. So, College of Whispers. We already have College of Valor. College of Swords. I don't know what the big difference between Swords and Valor is, but we'll go with it because here it is. Kind of like Grave versus Death. It's kind of the same thing. Valor resolved. Lore, Glamour. I think it's Eloquence. Right? Is that the one that we have up here? No, it's College of Dance. So, Eloquence and Creation. One, two, three, four. 1, 2, 3, 4. College of Eloquence. And then finally, College of Creation. Clear. 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 Just doing some quick update stuff here. Just language. Getting rid of the spells is a good way for me to acknowledge in a glance that I have not updated the subclass yet. That's why we do spells last. Plus, we like to see what the flavor of the options are, so that we know whether we should be adding a specific spell to a list or not. This would be Eloquence. In the Eloquence spells list. In the Swords. Sword. Whispers. There we go. Now we can build. Now we can build. Let's start at the beginning. Calls of Creation. Mote of Potential. Performance of Creation. Animating Performance. And Creative Crescendo. Okay. Whispers. Sword. performance. Creation. All right, we'll resolve the spells last. Let's go down here to creative crescendo. Animating performance. Performance of creation, and then moat of potential. Another massive feature description. Let's see how this shit shakes out, shan't we? There's surely we can word this less wordy. We'll see. We'll see. We'll see what you do. Whenever you give a creature a bardic inspiration die, you can utter a note from the Song of Creation to create a tiny moat of potential, which orbits within 5 feet of the creature. The moat is intangible and invulnerable, and it lasts until the bardic inspiration die is lost. The moat looks like a magical note, a star, a flower, or bullshit. Whenever you give a creature... Whenever a creature... You know what? No irony. A creature that has a bardic inspiration die from you can use it for one of the following effects. How about that for simplifying life? These are all D20 tests. Like, this is what, these three things are what define a D20 test. So we're going to see how this shakes out. Ability check. When a creature rolls a bardic inspiration die to add it to an ability check, creatures can roll the bardic inspiration die again. When the creature rolls the bardic inspiration die to add it to an ability check, the creature can roll the bardic die again and choose which roll to use as the moat pops and emits colorful whatever. And I don't need your flavor text. Thanks, though. Really, I'm like the most flavor text averse designer ever. If I had a weakness, that would be it. And immediately after the creature's roll the bardic inspiration die, it adds it to the attack roll against the target. The moat thunderously shatters the target and each creature of the choice that you see within 5 feet of it must succeed on a Constitution saving throw against your spell save DC or take thunder damage equal to the number rolled on the bardic inspiration die. Immediately after the creature rolls the bardic inspiration die and adds it to a saving throw, the moat vanishes with the sound of soft music, causing the creature to gain temporary hit points equal to the number rolled on the bardic inspiration die plus your charisma modifier. Yeah, not loving that. Honestly, not loving that feature. 1, 2. Let's fuck all that. Let's this is my world right now. When a creature that has a bardic inspiration die expends a bardic inspiration die from you, When a creature with a Bardic Inspiration die from you makes a D20 test. Thank you, Timely Timer. When a creature with a Bardic Inspiration die when a creature with a Bardic Inspiration die from you, uses inspiration, when a creature you have given a Bardic when a creature that you have given when a creature has, sorry, I'm messing with the language here. This isn't going to be perfect. When a creature has a has gained Bardic Inspiration from you. When a creature has gained Bardic Inspiration from you. When a creature that has expends it to improve a D20 test, the creature can roll the Bardic Inspiration die again and choose which roll to use. Period. Now I can get rid of all this crap. I'm just simplifying it. Simple. Make it simple. This already got too much stuff going on. As an action, you can channel the magic of a song of creation to create one non-magical item of your choice in an unoccupied space within 10 feet of you. The item must appear on a surface or a liquid that can support it. Gold piece value can't be more than 20 times your bard level, and the item must be medium or smaller. The item glimmers softly, and a creature can faintly hear. Okay, I'm good with this so far. Once you create an item with this feature, you can't do so again until you finish a long rest, unless you expend 2 mana, which is a standard cost for third level abilities that we already have established. So for 2 mana, to use the feature again, you can only have one item created in this feature at a time. If you use this action and already have an item that feature, it vanishes. The size of the item you can create with this feature increases by 1 size category. We reach 6th level and 14th level. Okay. No, actually, I'm good with all this. I just need to. I'm perfectly fine with this ability. It's just very wordy. As an action, I can skip flavor text and create one non-magical item of my choice. In an unoccupied space, I'm going to change it to 5 feet because that's the language that we use for Artificer. My item must appear on a surface or a liquid that can support it. The GP value of the item can't be more than 20 times your bard level, and the item must be medium or smaller. I am glimmer softly, and a creature can faintly hear music when it touches it. The item is obviously magical in nature. And disappears after a number of hours equal to your proficiency bonus. It'd be 2 at level 3. Maximum spell level you've gained at 3rd level is also 2. That tracks. But since we have 10th level spell slots at level 19, this will last up to 10 hours in the endgame. as opposed to up to 6 hours, which was its previous formatting here. Once you create an item with this feature, you can't do so again until you finish the long rest unless you expend 2 mana. No action required. And then the size of the item changes. I'm good with those things. So that was easy enough. 1, 2, buckle my shoe, 6. Animating performance. What's that gonna do? So far, this is pretty good. I'm happy with it. Ew, stat block. Not a fan of stat blocks. Not a fan of stat blocks. The role-playing game that I've been developing with my home table, Guild Delvers, it utilizes the Numenera / Cipher system method of creating monsters, which is choose a challenge rating between 1 and 10. That's the challenge of the challenge of the creature, and then anything that you do with that creature from then on in is a result of how poorly or well you roll against that challenge. So it simplifies everything. Stat blocks, I am not a fan of stat blocks. The role-playing game that we're building has no stat blocks. It's just CR 10 creature is just the most powerful creature in existence. CR 1 is barely an inconvenience. Actually, it might be an inconvenience just to combat it, because you're going to crush it. Animating performance, how do? Tell me of your homeworld, Usul. As an action, you can animate one large or smaller non-magical item within 30 feet of you that isn't being worn or carried. The animate object uses the dancing item stat block, which uses your proficiency bonus. Fuck off. In combat, the item, no. Let's do this instead. Animating performance. As a magic action, you can cast animate object as a level 3 spell. Animating one object. Hold on. We're just going to deconstruct the animate object spell. Very simple. Simple approach. Animate objects. This is called downcasting in D&D. Object animated by command. Choose a number of non-magical items within range that aren't being worn or carried, aren't fixed in the surface, aren't gargantuan. The maximum number of objects is equal to your spellcasting ability modifier. For this number, a medium or smaller target counts as 1 object, a large target counts as 2, and a huge target counts as 3. The maximum number of objects is equal to medium, large, and huge. That's easy. Oh, even better. Hold on. Kicker effect. When you use your magical when you use your animated when you use your performance of creation feature as a bonus action, as a magical action, as a magic action. After you cast a spell that has a casting time of an action, no, wait. As a bonus action, you can animate an item created with your performance of creation feature. As a bonus action, you can animate an item created with your performance of creation feature. Following the rules as with your performance of creation feature as detailed in the animate objects spell description. Using the animated object stat block statistics as detailed in the animate object's spell description, period. How long does the animated object already exist using the standard rules? I think it's a concentration spell, right? Yeah. But here, you can, the item, remains animated for 1 hour or until it's destroyed. So it's reduced to 0 HP. The item So yeah, you can animate the object for an hour, then it disappears. Then you can use performance of creation to create a new one and animate that for an hour. And it'll cost you 2 mana to fire that up and make it go again. It doesn't have a concentration duration. I'm happy with that. Yeah, I think that's pretty cool. I like that. Creation crescendo. When you use your performance of creation feature, you can create more than 1 item at once. The number of items, when you use the number of items equals your charisma modifier, minimum of 2 items. If you create an item that would exceed that number, you choose which of the previous items created items disappear. Only one of these items can be of the maximum size you can create. The rest must be small or tiny. And only one of these items can be animated at one. Tiny, comma, and you are no longer limited by gold piece value when creating items performance of crescendo. When using animated performance to animate one of your creations, only one item can be animated at a time this way. Zero hit points, or you use this feature again. The item then disappears. There we go. That's resolves all of it. And I'm really, really happy with that. So, 5th level spell. Obviously, animate objects. Obvious, comma. What else? Creation, huh? We're talking about creation here. Let's kick on down here and let's see what kind of stuff we can create. Really cool conversion. I'm really happy. Ooh, awaken. God damn, that's tempting. Oh, that's really tempting. Let's look at the parameters of awaken real quick. I like the idea of creating and then conversing with your creations. Awaken. Let's check that out. It might not jive, but let's look and see. God, what a cool idea. Tracing magical pathways with a precision. Casting time is 8 hours. Ugh, okay, that wouldn't work. But the target must be either beast or plant creature, or a natural plant that isn't a creature. Okay, no, that doesn't work. Okay, neat idea, doesn't work. One of the supplements I plan on making for the Spelljammer Combat and Exploration supplement that I had, we've got the Spelljammer subclasses, which all 13 classes get a Spelljammer version using all the mechanics that I've built out. The second book is Mecha Kaiju, which is building battleoids for war golems for characters to run around with instead of fightercraft, and then Kaiju are just mega monsters that we've built videos for before. And then the third book is Awakened Allies, which is when you have a ship made out of organic material, you can amplify the Awakened spell so that the ship becomes a sidekick companion. So, and then just it's a small thing, but it's a cool thing to build out. And then have sample ships. It's just an opportunity. It's just an excuse for me to do artwork and shit. But it's a neat idea. And we have the amplified spell effects. So Awaken could be used on a living structure up to 500 feet in size. So the Elven Armada, they would awaken all of their ships so that the actual ship itself can pilot itself. When it focuses on the helm that's bolted into it, it basically focuses on its heart and it can fly. Super cool. And it opens up the door for you to do all sorts of really cool mecha combat shit. Oh, fucking love that. Love that. Big B's hands. That Big B's hand just seems like a real obvious one too. But is there not a spell called creation? Sorry, Big B. You're getting bumped for creation, like literal creation. It's in the title. Gotta go with creation. It'd be criminal not to. 4th level. Summon Construct isn't a bad idea. Polymorph isn't horrible. So many summon spells, so little space. Stone Shape isn't horrible, but that's not creation, that's modifying. These are both modifying. Private Sanctum's a great spell. I like that one. Ooh, and Hallucinatory Terrain. Those might both be really good ones. Let's see if there's something that's a little bit more obvious. Conjure Spells. Those are creation. But I think I like these better. Let's do it. Cool. 3rd level. Let's see what coolness we can find. Maybe Arcane Eye. Maybe Wind Wall. Summon Undead, summon Fae. I want to hard code either one of those two because those creatures kind of imply a sort of like alignment or direction that I don't. Ooh, no. Plant Growth is modification. Major Image, that's not a bad one. Lehman's Tiny Hut is also not bad, but Magnificent Mansion trumps it, so it's kind of a hat on a hat at that point. It feels... Glyph of Warding. Ooh. Major Image and Glyph of Warding. Those aren't bad. Conjure. No. Cool. Okay, those are my picks. Glyph of Warding and Major Image. Love it. Love it. 3rd. So we need 2 second and 2 first. Let's see what we can find. It's going to get trickier down here. Rope Trick's not a horrible idea. It's dimensional magic, though. It's not quite the same. Minor Image. That's a good one. Huh. No. Cloud, Cordon of Arrows. You have to have arrows. You have to have cloud. You have to have daggers. That doesn't actually create anything. Nothing created. Nothing created. Nothing created. No. Jesus, we might have to go with Magic Mouth just on a default because, you create a magical mouth. I'm not 100% happy with that, but... yeah, no. Yeah, we're going to go with those. We're going to go with Magic Mouth and Mirror Image. If you can think of something better, I am open to it. But those are the obvious ones to me. Let's check out 1st level. Oof. I'm feeling unhopeful about this one. Oh, we're still in 2nd level. Hold on. Unseen Servant, maybe. Tensor's Disc, maybe. Tensor's Disc isn't horrible. That kind of jives with like the energy stuff. But what else? What else is there? Purify, Protection, Mage, Long Jump, Illusory Script. I don't hate Illusory Script. It's not a great spell, but it creates something. Yep, those seem like to be the ones. Illusory Script and Tensor's Floating Disk. Those are fun spells. A Tensor's Disc can support a Ballista, by the way. So if you have a Ballista, you can put a disc underneath it, and you can just float your Ballista down the dungeon with you. Carry a Gatling gun into your dungeon with you. Love it. Okay, College of Creation is Dunzo Dun Dun. Bloop. Exclamation point. Do I? What time is it? It's 8:30. This is when I wanted to end stream, but we still have Eloquence, Sword, Neswad, and Whispers. Yeah, I'm feeling like I should go. So I'm gonna go ahead and cut stream here. We're gonna be back tomorrow. We're gonna be tomorrow at lunch, probably like around 2 o'clock ish. We'll be back, and then we'll be back on Thursday night, and then we'll be back on Friday lunch as well. So I think what we're gonna do is we'll continue this tomorrow at lunch. We'll finish it on Thursday. I actually have Friday off, so that is a day off. So instead of just doing an hour lunch, I can do like a 3-hour burst or whatever. I bet. Okay, on Thursday we'll finish Bard, and then we're going to go back into Warlock and make sure everything's built out there. And then, so that'll be Tuesday, and then Warlock we'll do through Thursday. Whatever we don't finish on Warlock on Thursday, we'll finish on our extended lunch on Friday. And then we'll go back, and then we'll start going through all the other. We'll start going back through all the content to make sure everything's current. So far, we're looking really good, guys. So yeah, I'm going to go ahead and cut here. My energy says just go ahead and cut, so we're going to go ahead and cut here now. We're going to pick it up with Eloquence on tomorrow at lunchtime, which is typically going to be around 2 o'clock. And so if you thought this stuff was cool, I'm going to be back tomorrow morning to do more Eberron art if you're interested in checking that out. And so I do artwork Monday through Friday in the morning on whatever book I'm working on. And then Monday night, Thursday night, as well as Tuesday and Friday lunch. Those are the 4 times that we do game design, total of 9 times per week. I have my Discord down below. A bunch of books I've already created that have free previews down below. My Discord, Patreon, social feeds. Dive in, check it out, ask anything. What up? And I'll see y'all on the other side. So thanks all for hanging out with me today. Cheers.